So I'm making a pasta. I know I don't pronounce it right, it's ozro. But I'm gonna make it Mediterranean style by adding some tomatoes to it. So I've got, in the skillet, I've got some butter melting. I'm gonna chop up some of these tomatoes. Add some of this pasta straight to the butter. It's a pasta shaped like a rice. This is normally a Parmesan oregano recipe, Parmesan Orzo, but adding the tomatoes, and I'm going to add some spinach to it. It's kind of my own personal twist. And it is very flavorful. And you can add a little garlic if you want to, but we're not going to today. Just a little pasta. I like to warm the pasta up with a little butter. Get it all nice and toasted. You kind of see that. Just coat it in some oil, some butter oil. You can use olive oil if you'd like. Sometimes I do butter, sometimes I do oil, it just depends. Once we've got that a little toasted, we're going to add some chicken broth to it, of course. Who would I be without adding chicken broth? Some kind of broth to my recipe. And the key to this is getting enough in there. It tends to evaporate quite a lot. So we're going to kind of, not so much full, but enough to where we've got it fully coated. There we go. So this is going to cook between 12 and like 15 minutes. Get all around there. Tomatoes all set up. You can use any kind of tomato you'd like. I usually do a Roma tomato because that's my favorite. But this is what was in the fridge, so this is what we're using. Kind of slice them in halves, dice them in quarters. Probably quarters would be better. A lot of skill on these little ones though. Nice thing about this recipe, you don't have to add any extra salt to it. Chicken broth already contains enough salt to give it the good flavor it needs. I do add a little bit of pepper and some oregano. Let's go ahead and add that oregano. So you want quite a bit of oregano. I would say probably, several teaspoons. Several tablespoons. How about that? I'll just empty this out. There we go. So that was probably this much in there. That gives you an idea how much we put in there. See how quickly that broth tends to evaporate in there. I don't like adding the extra chicken broth to it because then it tends to cool down a little. Right now I've got it heated to medium. Put it on number 7, kind of a medium high. So we can get that going. There we go. To this, we're going to add some spinach. Remember that spinach cooks down quite a bit. So you want to add quite a bit of spinach. This gives it a nice flavor. Probably nice to take the stems off beforehand and wash it. But it shrinks up quite a bit. It's not real noticeable if you leave the stems on. So you want to put the spinach in quite early on. It does take a little bit of time to cook. We're going to add some more chicken broth to that. So I think about 3/4 of a box of chicken broth is going to be how we're going to go on. Seems about right, but I got a little less than 1/4 of a box left each time. And of course you can make it in a bigger, larger skillet if you'd like to. Finish up the rest of these tomatoes. One thing I don't like about these particular ones is they're seedy. They're real seedy. So yeah, I tend to stick to the Roma tomatoes. They are my favorite. Now we got our tomatoes all ready. I'm going to add them straight in. One of the disappointing things about not being able to be in person when we cook is you can't really smell it. If you could smell this right now, you could smell how amazing it is. It just smells great. Plus I got some chicken going in the background. A dish, speaking of which. Let's go ahead and throw in our black pepper. Probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Just enough to say I threw in some black pepper. Let this cook down a little bit more. got going in the background is the chicken. I'm gonna flip the chicken. It's a real easy chicken recipe. Just simple salt, pepper, seasoning, garlic on a medium-high heat. 20 minutes with a lid. One of the best, easiest recipes ever. Absolutely easy to do. Get our pasta stirring. In the back, I got the heat on for that. We're going to add some olive oil. And I'm actually going to add some asparagus to it. I've got them soaking in a little bit of water because they are like a flour, and you can kind of you can bring them back to life a little bit if you've got them in the water. You just soak it up. Add that right there. We'll just do a few. I feel like too much is going to overpower. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. Real simple. And that's all I add to this service. They're a little high. You hear the way they're cooking is it's up too high. For our pasta. The chicken recipe, if you didn't catch that, takes 20 minutes to do. Super easy. This takes about 15 minutes. You can start your chicken, start your pasta. The asparagus, kind of, depending on how you like it, if it's 8 to 12 minutes. Get them nice and crispy. There you have it. Super simple meal, all put together very quickly. An under 20-minute cook. Wait till this pasta's done. Let's go with that. Still acting like they're a little high. Let's bring them down to medium. We've got a nice oil coat on them. Cooking real nicely. You don't want to cook them to a yellow state. You never want a yellow state to your vegetables. It can be carcinogenic. Like you never want to eat yellow or black either. Pasta here's got a lot of liquid on it still. I'm going to turn our chickens down to a low simmer while we finish the rest of our food up. Those are starting to brown real nicely. We're going to go ahead and shut those off. Super easy. Until they're perfectly done. I mean, nice and crisp, not overcooked. pasta's getting there. And I am all about sampling the pasta so that you can kind of gauge what's at. Sometimes it might be too crispy, and then you know you gotta cook it a little longer, usually about 2 minutes longer if it's still crispy. I would say our pasta's just about done. Probably 1 more minute. So I'm going to pull those completely off the heat. Put them on an empty burner. I'm going to go ahead and start setting one of these up. Go to the chicken. Normally you can use a pot holder, but I know that one wasn't too hot, so we were good to go there. Take the small chicken, get him set up. Take some asparagus. When our pasta is complete, the final step is going to be to add some Parmesan. It's going to make it incredibly tasty. And turn that off. This has a slight bit more liquid than I would have liked, but that's how it happens sometimes. Sometimes it takes a minute to thicken up too after you turn it on. So to our plate, we're going to add the pasta. Into the pasta, we're going to add some authentic Parmesan. This one's grated because the grated works better with your pasta. Oh, and there you have it. Make it a mess. I'm really good at making messes in the kitchen. Pre-cut that better. There we go. And there you have it. It is very tasty.